This is the Browns Countdown Combine Special, presented by Bullseye Event Group. For award-winning game day experiences, visit bullseyeeventgroup.com.
Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, the annual home of the NFL's proving ground. The Combine is in the books. Now it's time to sift through college football's biggest stars. Hello and welcome into the Browns Countdown Combine Special presented by Bullseye. I'm News 5 Sports Director Jon Doss. The league's yearly pilgrimage to Indy has come to an end. So now what? That's the question we pose to my partner tonight and every Sunday during the Browns regular season. He's the Browns senior media broadcaster, Nathan Zegura. The only thing hotter than the shrimp cocktail.
Oh, baby. At Elmo's. Gotta love it.
Did you get yourself a steak dinner or two in Indianapolis?
Of course, we went to Elmo's. You have to do it. It's tradition.
Well deserved.
Yes.
Because you were everywhere. And you will
By
see.
the way, how about this?
You will see over the course of the next hour just how everywhere Nathan Zegura was, how many conversations he had in Indianapolis. We will take bits and pieces of each. The NFL league calendar, coincidentally, still doesn't start for another week. Actually,
Right.
1 week from today, 7 days, next Wednesday. But it feels like, Nathan, that the Combine is kind of the unofficial start to a new season.
It absolutely is. And a lot of people think the Combine's about the draft prospects, and they would be right, certainly to some degree. But the Combine is really about things that go on around Indianapolis, meetings at restaurants, GMs getting together, GMs and agents talking as they try to suss through and sift through what's going on in free agency and what's going on in the trade market. Wouldn't you know? The Browns leave the Combine, and they've got a trade. Won't be official, obviously, for 1 week until the new league year starts, but Titus Howard of the Houston Texans making his way to the Cleveland Browns for a fifth-round pick, which originated in the pick that the Browns got when they traded Zadarius Smith to the Detroit Lions a couple of years ago. And so now that's what you see at the Combine. A lot of these trades, free agents gauging the market, seeing what you're going to be able to do. Yes, of course, you're getting the information about the draft prospects, specifically the medical. And that's stuff that we don't get to know about. We're not privy to that, but that's one of the big reasons that they're there. But really, it's a lot about getting ready for this league year and for the Cleveland Browns getting this roster set for their new head coach, Todd Monken.
A lot of changes in Berea. New head coach, new coaching staff. Andrew Berry remains, and Jimmy Haslam was pretty candid when he talked about why he retained Andrew Berry, and it's because of the success. A lot of it's because of the success he had in the draft a season ago. We're hoping, of course, that Andrew Berry can have that similar success this season.
Yeah. You want to have that because last year what you got was the defensive rookie of the year. You see AB, yeah, that's what everybody's doing. You're walking through the conference center from the hotel through the tunnels, but you want to get that success again. Last year you got the defensive rookie of the year in Carson Schlesinger. You got Mason Graham, who they believe is going to be a mega star for this defensive line. By the way, funny thing right here is you're seeing Daniel Jeremiah talking with Andrew Berry right there. We're talking to Daniel Jeremiah at the Combine and literally ask him the question. My back is to where Andrew Berry was. So I didn't know Andrew Berry was there. And ask the question, all right, if you're Andrew Berry, what would you do at 6-24? He, of course, answers it. And then I turn around, I'm like, I saw DJ afterwards. I'm like, sorry about that. I didn't realize, I'm sure, listen, all your stuff is public. People understand that. But there you go. And you're answering the question right in front of the man who will be making the picks. But back to that draft class, Harold Fannin has emerged as a big-time weapon and a star. You love the running back duo of Quinshon Judkins and Dylan Sampson. And then, of course, you got some good play out of both quarterbacks, Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. And so there's an opportunity that you got the quarterback there. You got multiple starters on offense, multiple starters on defense. That's how you kind of turn things around here if you're the Cleveland Browns. And now you have an opportunity with 3 picks in the first 39 to do that again in another season.
And you, on Cleveland Browns Daily, asked Andrew Berry about that embarrassment of riches.
The ability to have access to a group of players that you normally wouldn't be able to acquire, it is exciting as you think about building the roster, especially, you think about this year and last year and contrast that to the past 3. It's a different challenge.
It's like trying to play chess and being like, well, this time I can actually entertain playing with a queen as opposed to no looking at the queens this time.
Yeah, I think I almost put it as like, imagine you're fishing in a pond and one has 3 trout per square meter, and then you fish in another pond and it has 3 trout per 100 square meter.
Yeah,
it's like
per pond.
Yeah, yeah, there you go. So it certainly makes it more exciting.
Just so we had chess, we had fishing, we had math.
Oh, yeah. A lot of analogies there at the Combine.
With the Ivy Leaguer, Andrew Berry.
Well, you're going around and you're having a good time at the Combine, and so you got to dig deep into your bag of tricks to try to get some good answers there. And really the reality is, Andrew Berry finally had a first-round pick for the first time since 2021, when he had the selection last year, and they get Mason Graham. They're able to turn that into Mason Graham and Quinshon Judkins and the first-round pick, number 24 in this year's draft from the Jacksonville Jaguars. Thanks for going to the playoffs, guys. Appreciate it. But you now have the opportunity and the assets. And that was the thing I talked to him about. You have 10 picks. Yeah. Now we have 9 because we've taken that 5th-round pick, turned into Titus Howard, who is going to be penciled in as either a starter at right tackle, that's my guess, or at one of the guard spots for the Cleveland Browns. He's played both and played both effectively for the Houston Texans. So, yeah, you have some ammunition to be able to move around and get this roster fleshed out where you want. And the reality is that's going to be a lot on the offensive side.
Exactly. I was going to say, and in the broad sense, we know this was a very good defense a year ago. We know they got a lot of issues to fill on the offensive side of the ball. That's the assumption going into the NFL draft next month, is that the Browns are going to try to address many of those offensive issues.
Yes, please. Please. Weapons, weapons, weapons. I mean, you've heard me say it every year on this Combine show. Weapons, weapons, weapons. We need to get some guys who can score the football on offense. And really, to me, the trade for Howard, that was wonderful news in my opinion, because it means that the Browns are in position to get a first-round wide receiver. Now, there are potential trades out there, and there are a lot of rumors swirling in Indianapolis about Marvin Harrison Jr. and the Cleveland Browns, and you'd send number 39 for that. I'm all in. Then that gives you the flexibility to maybe get a defensive guy in the first round. But I would expect both of these first-round picks to be on the offensive side. We know the Browns are still looking for potentially up to 4 starters on that offensive line. We don't know yet what Joel Bitonio is going to do. Wyatt Teller, unfortunately, has said his goodbye. You got Jack Conklin, DeJuan Jones coming back from injury, Luke Whippler coming back from injury, Ethan Posick likely to be gone as well. So you need somebody on that offensive line. You bring in Howard. I still think that could happen at 6 or 24. Could even also happen at 39. You can get 2 offensive line with your first 3 picks. But we need a wide receiver, in my opinion. And this is an opportunity to get Carnell Tate at 6. It's an opportunity to maybe make a trade. And there are some guys that people like later on when you get down to pick number 24 as well.
Well, as you mentioned, all of the biggest stars of the NFL world were in Indianapolis for the NFL Combine. That, of course, includes Camryn Justice.
Oh, yes.
Camryn Justice is here now. Nathan, you mentioned it a couple of times.
How about it?
Cam, big trade for the Browns out of Combine Week.
Yeah, listen, Nathan kind of went over it pretty well for me, so I don't know how much you're going to learn from me here. But with all the expected turnover on that offensive line, the Browns are going to attack the rebuild in a number of ways through the draft, through free agency, and this week through that trade for Titus Howard. Now, sources confirmed to me that they agreed to the trade with the Houston Texans. They get Titus Howard. They send a 5th-round pick to the Texans, and now they also give a contract extension to Howard. So his contract is set to expire at the end of the upcoming season. He'll get a 3-year contract extension from the Browns. Howard has been the starting right tackle for Houston. He's played significant time, though, as Nathan mentioned, right, left guard. He's a versatile option for the Browns to explore those other options in the draft and free agency, which is the plan that general manager Andrew Berry said at the Combine was that desired plan.
I actually think what Chicago and what Ryan Poles did last year is a really nice model. They did a combination of internal development, veteran additions, and draft. It's a nice mixture of like youth and experience, and I think that we would look to take a similar approach if the player markets line up for us.
Now, the trade for Howard and the contract extension won't become official until the start of the new league year at 4 p.m. on March 11th. But, Nathan, I really like that idea of this allows them to get that wide receiver we all are looking for and open it up, maybe change up the pick at 6 or 24.
All right, Cam.
Absolutely.
Thank you. That was the question I was going to ask. Does this then change maybe what you do with that 6th overall pick? Are you focused on one position over another now?
I think it depends on how you stack your board and where you see the gap in the tiers at those positions. If you think there's only one wide receiver that's worthy of being at pick 6 and there's a big gap and a cluster at 24, maybe you go and you get that guy. And when we were there, people said, the majority, that receiver is Carnell Tate. Now, the other thing is the offensive line. That's why I love that you don't necessarily have to look at this as 2 offensive linemen in the first round. By the way, I was talking with the Hoff Joe Thomas about it. They said, no, we still need weapons. And he's been on some excellent offensive lines, but didn't have
Joe Thomas
the weapons.
wants weapons.
He wants weapons as well. He wants weapons as well. Obviously, we've got to address the offensive line. We're going to do that. But he wants to get some guys who can score the football. So I do think that it gives you the flexibility there to get an offensive lineman along with a receiver in the first round. And what's really interesting about this is what direction Andrew Berry ultimately decides to go at 6. You think it'll be the other at 24. Now, you've got the flexibility as well to move down from 6 or up from 24. What's interesting is that when you were there in Indianapolis, everybody's talking about, this happens every year, by the way. When we were there last year, it was like, the quarterback's in 26, it's going to be loaded. Well, now it's just Ty Simpson at number 2, really. Mendoza, we know, is going 1, but they're not even sure if there's another first-round pick at quarterback. Well, they're saying the 27 draft, trust us, that one's loaded. Arch Manning, Julian Sain, and then you talk about Jeremiah Smith. There are other quarterbacks, well, Dante Moore. So people coming out of the combine were of the belief that teams are not going to be willing to move around a lot in the first round if it means they're giving up a first-round pick in 2027. The Jets are loaded already. They've got 3 picks that year in that first round. And so it's going to be tough, I think, to make kind of some of the moves like we did last year where you move just a couple spots and pick up a 2 and a 1. I don't think that happens in this year's draft. You're going to need somebody to come up at 6 and who falls in love with either Caleb Downs, kind of the non-premium positions. Caleb Downs, Sonny Styles, who dominated the combine, and then Jeremiah Love, who many people think is just straight up the best player in this combine.
All right, well, we're going to go to break now because coming out of the break, I want to talk specifically about some offensive line guys. Deep tease on Carnell Tate and the receivers. We're going to talk about them coming up as well. But after the break, let's take a deep look at some of the names Nathan's thinking about coming out of the combine in Indy. You're watching the Browns Countdown Combine Special, presented by Bullseye.
Levin Furniture.
The 2026 Combine now in the rear view. Now the NFL turns the page. It's next month's NFL Draft. It is no secret the Browns will be looking at offensive linemen throughout this draft, especially if you listen to what Daniel Jeremiah has to say.
Well, we want to have nice things in Cleveland, and this is a team that obviously it's been stated by the new head coach, Todd Monken, as well as general manager Andrew Berry, we need to go shopping on offense. You got 6, 24, 39. As you kind of look at those spots and kind of through the lens, maybe receiver, offensive line, how do you see those shaking out if you were kind of stacking your board? Is the gap from 6 to 24 bigger at receiver? Is it bigger at tackle? And how you'd kind of approach that?
That's a great question, and I think it's actually very similar. You know, there's some years where I'd say, look, if you need both, you got to take this one because you're not going to like what you get with that one. This year, there's a group of tackles I like in that range who I think got a chance to be good, solid players. I'm a Blake Miller fan. I think there's going to be a little drumbeat for him as we go through the process from Clemson. I don't know. I tend to like guys that are, big, have 34-inch arms, 35-inch arms, whatever he has, do over 30 reps on the bench, jump over 30 inches, start 54 games in college, have a wrestling background. Call me crazy.
Sounds good.
I like those types of guys.
Yeah.
So I think he's a really good player. Monroe Freeling from Georgia's got a chance to be a solid starter, real athletic. Probably a little more development needs to take place with him. But those are a couple intriguing tackle options.
Intrigue is what the NFL Combine is all about. As we welcome you back into the Browns Countdown Combine Special, Jon Doss, Nathan Zegura. You know Nathan means business when the tablet has come out onto the desk. And well, the big guys on the offensive line are all about business. We know that the Browns are going to have some gaps to fill, so to speak, right? You already mentioned Wyatt Teller has said his goodbye. Jack Conklin, unrestricted free agent. We're still waiting on Joel Bitonio's decision on his future. The Browns could be looking at an offensive line in which they need to fill maybe 4 spots.
Yeah, you got Howard. You could, listen, DeJuan Jones has played at a very high level, but he's just gotten injured every year, and he's one of my favorite guys on the team, and I certainly hope that he can get back to being a starter, but, they got to at least go into it maybe with the thought that he's got to be your swing tackle. Every tackle, you're going to get at least 3 tackles playing. That's unfortunately the reality of the situation in the league. Now, this is a team that's been so solid in the middle. Bitonio, Posick, Teller, and likely 2 of them are gone, potentially all 3. Joel Bitonio now, he could retire. He could say, I'm going to play, but I want to go play, out in California where I make my residence. Go reunite with Kyle Shanahan, play with the Rams, play with the Chargers, play with somebody, the Denver Broncos, a team that, feels like they're a Super Bowl contender. He has certainly the right to do that. So we don't know what's going to happen there. But, yes, this is a team that needs to address the offensive line in a big, big way. And it started already.
And it's an issue that this organization has not had for a long time, right? Like, they have leaned on this offensive line. And this is kind of an unfamiliar feeling now up front for them.
Very much so. And part of the problem is that you drafted, a guy like Zach Zinner, for example, 2 years ago to be part of your succession planning at guard. And unfortunately, he has not performed at the level that they want. Not to say that he cannot, and he will certainly get opportunities to do so, but that just has not happened yet. KT Levison, a guy they traded for last year, he's a young player. Perhaps he can move inside at guard. Not really as big as you'd want to tackle typically. Maybe he's somebody who can move inside at guard. Luke Whippler is still here. There are still guys here that potentially could be part of the solutions, but it just has not quite worked out for the Browns. When you look, you drafted James Hudson in the 4th round. You hope he can become a starter. That doesn't necessarily work out for you. And Dewan, who's been very good, as I said, battling the ability to stay healthy.
Let's look at a couple of names coming out of the combine. Alabama's Caden Proctor. This is a guy maybe you think may be available later in the first round.
Yeah, when you're talking to people there, Caden Proctor was somebody that would be in the discussion kind of in the back half of the first round, around pick number 24. Big guy, 6'7", 366. He's got everything that you want from a size perspective. But there are, questions about his athleticism. Can he? And then how that size will translate. You have to worry about the size. We've seen big tackles like Trent Brown have a lot of success. We've seen other big tackles struggle a little bit with their weight and with staying healthy. So we'll see how that goes. When I was there, it felt like there were only a couple people that were even in the discussion for the Cleveland Browns at number 6. And now you had Daniel Jeremiah. Daniel Jeremiah does not have an offensive lineman in his top 10 on his big board. So could you move back and get an offensive lineman? Now it's a premium position. They're going to go early just because of that. And, it's like something Field Yates said to us there that I thought was very good. When you have a draft pick, you basically have a coupon that allows you to buy a widget, regardless of the quote-unquote price of that widget. You get to buy whether it's an offensive tackle, a quarterback, a wide receiver. They're all the same. He's turning the same token. You get that. The difference is when you bring back an offensive tackle, when you bring back a wide receiver, you bring back a quarterback or a cornerback or a pass rusher, those immediately, if they play well, you're getting, let's call it $15 million for a $40 million item. You're paying 15 for 40. You're making 25 on that. That's why people are sometimes hesitant to take a safety where the franchise tag's $16 million, because you're paying that $15 million, so you're getting $1 million benefit. Same with the running back. So that's why these tackles are going to go early. I didn't get a consensus that there was a great tackle. In fact, many people told me that relating it to the year when we drafted Jed Wills, when there were the 4 of them, it was Jed Wills, Andrew Thomas, Tristan Wirfs, Mekhi Becton, that they wouldn't have a tackle in this class at the level of those 4. Now, 2 of those have gone on to be dominant pros. Mekhi Becton's gone on to win a Super Bowl. Jed Wills, the one we drafted, unfortunately, did not work out. But if you're looking at 6, it's Spencer Fano from Utah. A lot of people there said he had the best offensive line workout. Now, his arms, 32 inches under the thresholds, question there. And then Maui Noah from Miami. Yeah. And now Monroe Freeling, the big guy, athletic. He's moving up the boards. He could be in the discussion there as well.
That's the Georgia kid who coincidentally was recruited, partially, by Todd Monken. All right, coming up after the break, Nathan wants weapons.
Give them to me.
We're going to discuss weapons next to the Browns Countdown Combine Special.
Every day.
The NFL Combine at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. It's every elite college player's opportunity to show just where they belong come next month's NFL Draft. Welcome back into the Browns Countdown Combine Special. The Browns wide receiving core in 2025, not up to par, especially as you stack it up around the NFL.
Absolutely not, and that's something that's got to be addressed. This is a league where you must score the football. Jerry Jeudy's numbers from 2 years ago when he was a Pro Bowler basically cut in half. Now, Isaiah Bond is a guy that I like a lot. 18.8 yards a catch. He can get behind the defense. I think he will thrive under Todd Monken, but not enough there. We've got to add to it, and that could be not only in a trade, but also here, obviously in the draft, and I believe in the first round.
We are pretty sure that Andrew Berry is going to address this wide receiver situation. One of the names, obviously, everybody throwing around, arguably the top wide receiver on the board, Ohio State's Carnell Tate.
Yeah, coming out of Indy, I would say that Carnell Tate is the top receiver on the majority of
Even
boards.
Though he ran a slow 40?
He ran 4.5. Guess what? So did Puka Nacua. So did plenty of receivers. Jackson Smith and Jigba was a high 4.4. That, by the way, teams had him in the high 4.4s as well. I like Carnell Tate a lot. The comps I was getting, C.D. Lamb, Devontae Smith, I think he will be excellent. The only kind of knock was, well, we've never seen him be a 1. Well, he's playing with a lot of these guys at Ohio State weren't playing with 1s, and they go to the NFL, and they very much are 1s. And so I think Carnell Tate, that's the guy that I want at 6. That would be my target there. But Dane Brugler just released his mock today after the Combine. 6 receivers go in the first round, including Carnell Tate, Jordan Tyson, the brother of our cat, Jalen Tyson, Omar Cooper Jr. from Indiana. That's a guy that's being mocked to the Browns quite a bit now.
Yeah, well, Carnell Tate wouldn't mind going to the Browns.
No, I'd love it.
Staying in the state of Ohio.
Let's do it.
I had a great meeting with the Browns. Andrew Berry, the GM, the head coach Todd Monken, and the receiver coach. We just talked ball. They got up there. We talked about put my film on, see what all I can remember, who all position I know, what coverages I knew. And it'll mean a lot to stay in Ohio. Like Columbus is Ohio. It's an hour up the street. So yeah, it'll mean a lot to stay in Columbus, next to Columbus, and then I can go out there and see all my guys out there at Ohio State. And I know Ohio State fans love Cleveland Browns, so why not?
Well, I can tell you that Cavaliers rising star Dalen Tyson wouldn't mind seeing Jordan Tyson go off the board to Cleveland, Nathan.
Hey, some people did have him as their top receiver. The question is going to be his medical. He has missed a lot of time with injury. What do those medicals show? Because he's an excellent route runner, excellent separator. So you got him, Mekhi Lemon, who had a very interesting combine, certainly at the podium, and I didn't hear some great things in the team meetings as well, but a talented slot receiver like Amon-Ra St. Brown, Denzel Boston, that's the big one, and then Casey Concepcion, that's the guy who can fly. Those are the 6 guys that are kind of consistently going in the first round. And for the Browns, I really think it's Tate at 6. If you don't take Tate at 6, you're not getting him unless you trade it back 8, 10, somewhere in that range. Otherwise, you're looking at receiver at 24.
Tell me a little bit about Boston, another Pac-12, former Pac-12
looks the part, right? 6'4", 210. We got to see how he runs. He did not do the 40 at the combine. That's going to be a part of it. But big guy, contested catch guy. He feels like a true X in this offense.
Coming up after the break, we have a big special treat. Camryn Justice got to sit down. So we got to sit down with Myles Garrett on a very special night for Garrett at Rocket Arena last week to talk about football, off the field, and all that in between. That's coming up next in the Browns Countdown Combine Special, presented by Bullseye.
Have a good night, all.
Welcome back to the Browns Countdown Combine Special, presented by Bullseye Event Group.
The work is now underway in Brook Park at the site of the new enclosed Huntington Bank Field. The diggers were out there earlier this week. Big time for the Browns organization.
A big day here at New Huntington Bank Field and Brook Park, and obviously for the city of Cleveland and for all of Northeast Ohio, as we're digging the hole for the new stadium that's going to be open here in 2029. It's a big monumentous day. We're excited. It's a brisk March cold day here in Cleveland, but it's a big day, and we're very excited to get this project going.
So this is exciting. We're starting to dig down our 80-foot deep excavation to get all the way down to the bottom of the hole to then start coming back up out of the ground with the new Cleveland Browns Stadium. I mean, this is going to be a revenue generating. This is going to bring a lot of local workforce, putting them back to work, with the idea that we're going to have at least over 75% local workforce building this project.
I can't wait to show up for a kickoff. Be doing the Browns countdown right there on the sideline in December, and it's 65 degrees.
Hey, what is Tampa going to do with those gloves he got him last year? He's not going to need them. Well, yeah, he's got a couple of years, but I can't wait for this. It is going to be the best stadium on planet Earth for a period of time. It's going to be incredible. The roof, 85% of the light comes through. It's like you're going to be like sitting outdoors. It's going to be awesome. They thought through everything. Closest front row and last row seats in the entire NFL. That vertical wall for the dog pound. It's going to be awesome. I cannot wait.
There have been rumors that the NFL Combine may begin to circulate, kind of like the NFL Draft does. Who knows? Maybe we're doing a Combine special with a Combine right here in Northeast Ohio.
I wouldn't be afraid of that. I keep Elmo's cocktail sauce in my refrigerator, so it's not like I'd miss that.
I am afraid of Myles Garrett, as is every quarterback in the NFL, and it is a good time to be Myles Garrett, the single-season sack king. You got a lot going on.
It's always a good time to be Myles Garrett.
On and off the field, and with more on that, we bring back Camryn Justice. And Cam, you get the chance to sit down with the Browns defensive superstar.
Yeah, guys, Myles Garrett has set himself above the rest. He's inked himself in the record books time and time again and has made his mark on this league. I sat down with Garrett to talk about his legacy and what's next in the story of number 95. Myles Garrett is a man of many titles. Cleveland Browns superstar. Two-time Defensive Player of the Year.
The 2025 AP Defensive Player of the Year is Myles Garrett.
NFL Sack King. But what are his favorite accolades?
Son, brother, boyfriend,
stuff like that means a little bit more.
For Garrett, he sees his greatest accomplishments showcased in how he shows up for those he loves. Take, for example, his recent trip to Italy to support his Olympic medalist girlfriend, Chloe Kim.
I'm sitting down with the Chloe Kim's boyfriend.
That means a little bit more.
Yeah, see?
That hits different.
Now, don't get it twisted. Garrett does take pride in his football accolades, too. He plans his milestones before he conquers them. They take, as he says, astronomical effort.
You had the single-season sack record quite literally written on you at the start of the year. What does it mean to you to be able to manifest these goals into reality? What is the process for you?
I think those dreams and those aspirations take the work to make them happen. All that requires you to put in your due diligence and the equal amount of effort. And so I know that to have these lofty goals and ideas of how that you want your career to go, you have to put in the same amount of astronomical effort every day. And they just continue to stack until you put yourself in position to do the things you always hope to do.
The support Garrett gives others along his own journey matched only by the support he's given.
When you broke that record, for you to have your dad there, the camera to capture it, to be able to go to the sideline and embrace your mom and celebrate that moment with her.
That's his legacy.
That's our legacy.
What was that like for you?
It just means so much more, being able to see them ecstatic that finally came to fruition, their smiling faces. Hell, if they could have, they probably would have jumped down. But having that affection, that love, that admiration, that kind of stuff, I'll remember that longer than I'll remember the record for sure.
I'm sure you'll also remember what that crowd was like. What does that mean to have so many people, not just your family, not just your teammates, but people around the state, around the country, around the world, having your back supporting you?
It's insane when you put it like that. I have so many different fans. Just proud to have my family continue to help elevate me and get me to this point. I want to do right by them. I want to make them proud, and I think along the way I'll make my friends proud as well and continue to give them something to root and cheer for.
Because that's what it's always been about, for the league's top pass rusher.
What does the word legacy mean to Myles Garrett?
Along the same vein, it's really a story in which you can show or tell your family, your loved ones, for them to look back and smile upon. That's what legacy means to me. Something that they can be proud of and they'll remember you by when it's all said and done. And I want it to be, remember for all the ups and downs and know that I gave everything that I had along the way, and hopefully it's a happy ending to my story and my legacy.
So when you think about that, what is next to accomplish? What is next for number 95?
A Super Bowl would be great. That's the way I've always wanted my career to go. I'll be able to knock out each one of these. I think I would have knocked it out earlier if I could, but it's all on God's timing. So Super Bowl MVP would be amazing. But right now, just taking it day by day. I'm happy with the things that I've done. I'm not satisfied, but I'm being able to take a second to breathe, and after all the dust is settled, I was just appreciative that I've even gotten to this point, and just trying to take it one day at a time.
Would it mean more for these goals to happen here in Cleveland?
Would it mean more? Yeah. The team that drafted me, who put their hopes and aspirations into one person with the first pick, it does mean a lot. But like I said, I just want to take it a day at a time as far as what's happening with my off season and going into next season. But I'm very, very proud of what I've been able to achieve here and the teammates and the team that we have.
You heard it there. Legacy is everything to Myles Garrett, and we can only hope that Cleveland gets to watch him add that next goal to it. A Super Bowl for a city and a superstar longing for it.
We are so lucky to have that guy on this team in this city. Such a great ambassador for the city of Cleveland, really for football.
He's the best non-quarterback in the NFL, period, full stop. And yes, of course, we're very lucky. And now what we need to do is figure out a way to get everything around him so that we can win Super Bowls. And that's exactly what Myles Garrett wants to do. That's part of what we're looking at, obviously, on the offensive side.
I'm curious. You had a great conversation with our good buddy, the voice of the Browns preseason here on News 5,
right.
Chris Rose. Chris brought up an interesting point. Everybody's talking offense, receiver, offensive line. Maybe they do something on the defensive front.
We're an interesting team. New coach, the 3 picks there. Now it's great defense. Can you just get the offense? Everybody that I've talked to, you guys can just get your offense to be, 15th, 16th in the league. You guys can win your division.
You could. I think it was shocking what happened in the AFC North a season ago.
Yeah.
There's also, and it's something I wrestle with, because I don't know if you remember, but Daniel Jeremiah's first mock draft came out. Do you remember who he had us taking at 6?
An edge.
Yeah, David Bailey.
Yeah.
He won't make it to 6, by the way. He won't make it there. And I called him and I said, my God, what are you trying to
start a riot?
Do to my hometown? What's going on here? And he goes, listen, dude, it's twofold. He goes, I understand why people would be pissed, but there aren't that many, what they like to call in the business, blue chip players.
That's been a pretty consensus thing so far.
And he said, when you can get one,
you get him.
Could you imagine putting him on the opposite side of Myles Garrett? He goes, I'm just telling you, that defense would be incredible. I was like, but we don't have any linemen, and we need receivers. He goes,
we need to score.
He says, the receiver thing can still be taken care of. He goes, I really think that there's guys that are going to be drafted in the 4th round that will be starters. Like, he honestly believes that.
I think you've said he has since Daniel Jeremiah maybe moved off of that, but this idea of could you imagine player X, Y, or Z opposite Myles Garrett? They're already a really good defense. Got to score some points now.
Absolutely, you've got to score some points because we saw what has our defense necessarily netted us without a competent offense, and we got to get there. Now, don't forget, we also just signed Alex Wright to an extension that we liked a great deal. So we've got our defensive end set.
Maybe these guys coming up after the break can help. We'll talk tight ends next to the Browns Countdown Combine Special.
Today.
Time now to comb through the numbers. Heights, weights, wingspans, 40 times, bench press. See who's going to become the next Cleveland Brown. Maybe 9 of them next month at the NFL Draft, as we welcome you back to the Browns Countdown Combine Special. Jon Doss, Nathan Zegura. Tight end. Pretty great position for the Browns a year ago, but going to be a likely hole felt for the first time since 2017. David Njoku saying goodbye via social media. We know the NFL league year doesn't start for a week. Lots of things can happen. But David's been a mainstay for this organization, and it looks like he may be on his way.
Yeah, he's been a Pro Bowler and certainly at times the heart and soul of this team. I will never forget when David Njoku had that incident with the fire, and he played a football game basically wearing a helmet on completely raw and burned off skin. His toughness is beyond question. He is a fun guy. He is a leader. He will be sorely missed. But that's kind of what happens in the NFL. That's a long run with one team. We will miss the Chief and the Chief slam there. But Harold Fannin is now the tight end. And I think the Browns are going to be active, whether it's free agency or in the draft, to bring in a couple more tight ends, potentially both of them. And I think what you're looking for is a second tight end that can help you in the pass game, but also that inline classic Y tight end. Think about what Charlie Kolar brought to the Baltimore Ravens. He's a name that the Browns could potentially pursue as well. Charlie Kolar, and then, of course, Isaiah Likely was there. He will be a free agent, and familiarity with Todd Monken for both of those guys.
Andrew Berry and his scouting department proved their acumen when they went out in the third. Did they get Harold Fannin Jr. in the 3rd round? And he was maybe the best offensive player for this team a season ago.
It was awesome.
They do it again? I got a few names for you coming out of the combine. Okay. We start with an Ohio guy, Cincinnati, Joe Royer.
Yeah, Joe Royer, bigger guy, 6'5", 250, capable blocker. Again, we're not drafting a Pro Bowl tight end here. What we're trying to draft is a very good role player, a guy that when you throw it to him, can he catch it? As you see Royer there, ability to get down the field, make plays after the catch, but also can line up in the backfield, can be kind of an inline Y blocker as well.
Let's go to Georgia. This is an interesting guy because I was looking up, ESPN's draft rankings. Where is Oscar Delp on the tight end? Got him listed as a fullback, got him listed as like an H-back. This guy can do everything.
Yeah, a lot of versatility. Again, not quite as big as some of the other people we'll talk about, but a lot of versatility there in that offense. Obviously, the Georgia ties, Todd Monken will have a very good read on what he could potentially bring to the Cleveland Browns. But that's what you're looking for. Guy who can make plays, can be a willing blocker alongside Harold Fannin.
All right, let's go to Vanderbilt. Eli Stowers.
Eli Sowers is an interesting one because he can run, he can move, he's a little bit lighter. He would be kind of, if the Browns are going 12 personnel, he'd be like the Isaiah Likely to Mark Andrews in that one. He is a good receiver, been compared to Jordan Reed, was the John Mackey Award winner last year, 769 yards. He was the focal point of Vanderbilt's offense, much in the same way, the year before that, Harold Fannin was the focal point of the Bowling Green offense. So a very, very good player there and somebody that could add some value. I think the Buckeyes also have 2 tight ends that would be interesting for the Cleveland Browns. The first of those, obviously, Max Clare, who was very big time at Purdue, transferred to Ohio State. Not as used. They got Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate to throw the football to, but he is a good receiver and can be a good blocker. And then the other guy, Will Kazmarek, who I think has an opportunity to be that inline wide, that Charlie Kohler in this offense. He's a big guy, 6'6", 260, physical, hand in the ground tight end. He's somebody who makes sense for the Browns on, late, probably early day 3.
This organization prides itself on being able to discover those gems later in the NFL draft. Camryn Justice caught up with Catherine Hickman and discussed just that.
How much changed for you guys maybe in the way you approach the philosophical aspect of it, having those years where you didn't have a first-round pick? We saw a successful draft last year with those high-level picks, and now you have them again this year. How much has changed, and what did you learn from the success you had last year as you approach this one?
I think consistency has been key to Andrew in our personnel processes, really regardless of where we picked when it comes to the process. Now the strategy change when you have those higher picks and you get higher odds of getting a starting caliber player, which is very exciting. But in terms of our process, we're pretty consistent in terms of how we aggregate the information and then put it all together. It's just really exciting to be able to add some talent in this draft like we did last year.
Yep, they added a ton of talent. Arguably, they added the most talent of any team in the NFL, but they've got to keep going because you have a couple of drafts like that. Now we're talking, especially.
Then all of a sudden you become a destination where we're seeing more free agent quarterbacks make moves here. And obviously you hope the solution's internal, whether that be Deshaun Watson, Shedeur Sanders, or Dylan Gabriel. But if it's not, if you can keep having these good drafts and supply, that's a place that a quarterback wants to drop into, much like Sam Darnold did in Seattle and now Super Bowl champion.
You're really good at this,
I try.
Professional transition
Let's go.
by Nathan Zegura. Because guess what we're going to talk about? The quarterback. Next on the Browns Countdown Combine Special. The Indiana Convention Center. Enjoy it while you got it, Indy. Maybe coming here to Northeast Ohio in a couple of years. Just saying.
Do you know something? Do you have some inside information right here?
Just saying. All right, you spoke to a lot of people. You spoke about a lot of topics at the 2026 NFL Combine in Indianapolis. You spoke with Cynthia Freeland about specifically the Browns quarterback situation and the free agent market.
The real question is going to be, what is Malik Willis, who has a very small sample size, and I know you are very much into the numbers and the analytics and the stats and all of that. He's going to be the top free agent quarterback. Then you've got Kyler Murray, who is likely to at some point hit the market.
Yes.
How do you kind of see this quarterback landscape? And to you, what are the big dominoes and maybe how you could see this shake out?
Where's Mac Jones go? Because that's the other one I care about.
So that's an interesting one. If I'm the Niners, if I'm Kyle and John Lynch, right, I saw what he could do in my system. Now, if I'm the rest of the league, I said, he's just like Sam Darnold went to Kyle finishing school and then came out of there, and, oh, man, he's pretty darn good. Can Mac Jones be that next guy, right?
Yep.
I think even if he doesn't play this year, if they let him walk, somebody's going to give him a good contract. So to me, he's going to bring in a compensatory third when he leaves. So don't you think that it starts then in the second if you want him now?
You'd think so.
And will somebody give a second for Mac Jones?
I think they might.
You think they might?
There aren't 32 guys that are able to play this game.
It's a problem. I know. We're on our search. We hope obviously Deshaun Watson can recapture his past glory. We hope that, Shedeur Sanders, we saw some good, some not so good, that maybe the not so good goes away and the good goes there. But yeah, that's the whole quest in the league.
But even some team, is Kirk Cousins okay? What happens with that?
He played very well at the end of the year.
Right. And what about Tua? We didn't even talk about Tua. Does he go to Atlanta?
That would be interesting.
I think we could see some crazy wave of free agency. These moves could be totally bananas.
I thought the days of backup quarterback showing one game's worth of tape and then getting paid was like behind us, but Malik Willis may very well get paid. He's going to get paid. Some team's going to get him to be a starting quarterback. I guess my question is, the Browns cannot be going through this offseason with plan A in-house at this very moment. I think that there probably is, there's got to be discussions of whether they got to bring somebody in. Whether that's free agency, that's through the draft, that's whatever, but you got to see something more from this quarterback position.
I think that's fair, and for Todd Monken, that obviously is job number one, right? You come in, and as he said to me, you find out about your quarterbacks, and then when you make that guy the guy, that's where you build your offense out of their strengths. And so for the Browns, Deshaun Watson, we haven't seen elite play from him since the year 2020. He's working very hard. There is a lot of optimism that with Todd Monken, he can recapture some of that. We saw some great things from Shedeur Sanders. We're seeing that Tennessee game here, which was a historic performance by a rookie. We also saw some not so good things, including turning the football over far too much. So could it be in-house? Dylan Gabriel took care of the football but wasn't able to really get it down the field. Yes, that's obviously what you want, but the Browns are certainly going to explore. It's the most important position in all of professional sports, finding somebody else to come to this room, whether it be through the draft or whether it be through a trade.
You could argue it's the only position that matters. I mean,
it is.
You can have the best defense on the planet with the best defensive player on the planet. You got to score the football.
You got to.
The Browns did not do enough of in 2025. All right, we wrap this up. Coming up after the break, what does Andrew Berry and company do next? The Browns Countdown Combine Special. All right, gone are the Combine days at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis.
How about that? Right here around the
She
desk.
left her own personal space over there to join us here on the desk.
Thanks for having me.
Slumming it with us now.
All right, so what's next, right? NFL Combine now in the rear view. NFL Draft on tap in just about 7-8 weeks from now. Nathan, the Browns are going to bring in a number of some of these guys they saw at the Combine, some they haven't seen at the Combine for visits into Northeast Ohio here.
Yeah, you got talked to, I think it was 45 guys at the Combine. You get to bring 30 in, but part of that is smokescreen. So you're going to bring some guys in maybe that you're interested in. You're going to be some guys in that you're not interested in. And then some guys that you love, you act like you want nothing to do with them because you've already made up your mind. So that's going to be the next step for the draft class. But really everything is going to be about a 1 week from now, the start of the league year, free agency, and how that starts to unfold as the Browns start to take this roster and get ready for 2026.
When the owner of your football team says to the general manager, says of the general manager, we are retaining this guy because we believe in him based on what he did, for the most part, in the draft last year. Is that more pressure for Andrew Berry to succeed again come April?
I think there's pressure, of course, but as Nathan mentioned earlier in the show, this is a stretch for him where he's getting a first-round pick. He didn't have that for a couple of years, so now he's got the ability. I think he really struck hot last year, and I think he can do it again with those weapons, with that draft capital.
We will be at the NFL Draft in Pittsburgh, just an hour and 45 minutes down the road. And we'll have the Browns Countdown Draft Special. Who knows who the Browns are going to be with those 9 picks overall. Get rid of the day 3 picks. Let's get out early. He's Nathan Zegura. She's Camryn Justice. I'm Jon Doss. Thanks so much for watching the Browns Countdown Combine Special presented by Bullseye.